Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the world of RaceFace.Pro, but welcome to the end of our championship. Welcome to Spa. 8 weeks ago, we started on a mission to find out who's going to be the quickest for this season, and it has been an uphill fight. Lots of highs and lows, lots of extreme drama, from tears of joy and sorrow being thrown on all sides. And with the points so close towards the end, with all our different divisions from Am, Pro-Am, and Pro looking to do battle for the final time around this legendary track of Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, we're in for an absolute treat. Daniel Rowe leading the pack on 300 points. Pedro Rodriguez in second place, 258 points, and Mahaith Musa lying in third place on 234 points. Let's head down to the track and let's see how it's all going as they started qualifying. So, if you're just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you guys here out in the virtual grandstands and going and enjoying all the racing action. Let's run through the order though, because Daniel Rowe, who you see currently out on track in the Lamborghini, is in first place of the championship. He's getting chased down by his teammate, Pedro Rodriguez, in second. Then third place is Mahaith Musa. In third place is Mahaith Musa in the big BMW. Those are the three drivers to keep an eye out on as they're looking to push themselves a little bit harder up through the field. Don't count out the likes of Darren Miller of the PWSR Bravo. Also, lying in fourth place, 189 points. Third place is out of reach, but he is in a fight of his own with Jason Farmer going to be chasing him down for the top points and to get into that fourth place spot. So keep an eye out for Jason Farmer as he is looking to claw his way through. Andre Serradio running in sixth place along with Conor Bergstrom going and lying a little bit further down the pack. And taking a look, I don't actually see him. Yes, I do. There he is. Conor Bergstrom lying in seventh, followed by Werner Schumann. He is currently lying in eighth position and looking to score a win here at Spa. He's getting chased down by also teammate of the Pandassi, Mordred Claessens, who has been on some highs and lows. Unfortunately, internet got the better of him the previous run. Taking a look to our virtual grandstands, we've got Paul Fenter saying, "Hello, Stephen." Oh, hello, Paul. Hope you're well. You should actually be in your car going out for qualifying, but you're going to be standing on the pit wall there, so hopefully ready for the race. Good to see our drivers all ready to have a bit of fun. So let's go through the standing order at the moment as Pedro Rodriguez puts himself on the top spot with a 2:17.2. Looking to claw his way up to victory and hopefully to go get another win to maximize his points this evening right here at Spa-Francorchamps. Got a little bit of sound coming through, and with the 2:17.2, it is properly quick. Mahaith Musa lying in second place. Did a 2:17.4 on his last lap and instantly getting beaten out by Daniel Rowe. Puts himself to the top of the charts at 2:16.7. ahead of everyone, so he's really stepped up the pace. Darren Miller currently out in fourth place. Jason Farmer in fifth. Alan Patterson has kept himself consistent. He's 2.6 seconds off first place, but is still on a almighty charge at this point to make his way through. A couple of drivers still needing to get a lap time in. There's the likes of Fafiers, Coetzee, Claessens, Bergstrom, Werner Schumann, Heineke, and Fenter still needing to get those times in to ensure that they can stand on the top. Running a little bit wide, losing out a bit of time. Jacky Ickx also trying his luck. Mordred Claessens and Conor Bergstrom going out very wide. He's trying to open up a bit of a gap, so he will be going and invalidating that lap time. Not ideal circumstances for the final race of the season. But talking about final races of the season and the pressure that comes with it, as we see the likes of Pedro Rodriguez getting himself into first place ahead of Mahaith Musa. Daniel Rowe down into third place. we have Cameron de Bastos coming and joining us. Cameron, good to have you here. Welcome to Spa-Francorchamps. And what a wild, wild ride. The championship looking very, very interesting with Daniel Rowe on 300 points. Pedro Rodriguez, if he gets a win here tonight and Daniel Rowe does not finish, Pedro Rodriguez gets the championship. Mahath Musa on 234 points has an opportunity to jump into second place and maybe a little bit higher if his competitors of Daniel Rowe and Pedro Rodriguez do not finish this race. But then you got Darren Miller versus Jason Farmer. Andre Serradio is in the mix, and he is tied points with Conor Bergstrom and Werner Schumann, all three of them on 137 points. I mean, this is some tight racing that we're seeing in the championship, and it's all come down to the very last race to dictate who's going to win the championship at the end.
Good evening, team. Good evening, everybody out there. Absolutely. I love having a championship battle be so close as the one that we have here tonight. But yeah, it's going to be close. Whoever's going to finish between those will be the winner of our of the GT Sprint, not Sprint, GT3 series there. But no, it's been an absolute fantastic season thus far, and it's great to see the battle still going on there. Spa, a very, very difficult circuit, a very, very tricky one. One mistake does mean that you, well, of course, lose time. And with it being such a long lap, if you do not get a lap in qualifying, you will be starting from the pits. It might be a good thing, but we all know also that this run up to Eau Rouge is very, very difficult, and you are very following quite close to the guys ahead of you. If they make a mistake or they have to lift because somebody up ahead makes a mistake that you don't see, it will mean that you might be part of a collision. So it's always good to be aware of everybody where they are in order to prevent yourself from unfortunately crashing.
Now it's going to be a bit of a difficult one for our drivers to see who can get up through the order as Andre Serradio comes across the line. He's locked himself into third place at current, so trying to also push himself that little bit further up the road. Pedro Rodriguez in first. Werner Schumann is still out on track, 0.5 of a second up. He is also looking to try and stand on the top of the charts. Not going to be an easy run. It does look like a lot of these drivers are pushing themselves that little bit more, hoping that they can stand on top of the shoulders of giants. But that being said, it is still a long fight, and as you know, it's make or break at this track. You're either going to get it right and you're going to stand on the top and get the win, or you're going to lose out. But backing out of the fight now is non-negotiable for any of these drivers as they look to try and step up their game here at Spa. I mean, this is the swan song, the final run for them, and ultimately this is what you're going to have on the cards for you. You've got to really stand on top of it and really push yourself that extra mile. But when you got your teammates around you as well that seem to be battling, that's also going to be one sitting on the mind, because blood is in the water. Who's going to be able to do it, considering it is a swan song? It's the final, and you want to ensure that you stand at the top of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't go so far into a season and then giving up on the final round. You want to be able to get the leg up on your opponent. You want to continue going and giving it your all. So it's you just don't give up there, unless of course you try and fight out the full minute, well, the full time that is there. But if you do realize at the end, in the last couple of minutes, unfortunately, well, it is what it is. You will have to settle with that. If, for example, if your opponent that you're fighting is too far up ahead in terms of position, you're not closing down the gap, they just have that little bit of pace compared to what you're having, then you have to consolidate what you can, but never give up until the very, very end. You always want to fight. You don't want to just throw in the towel immediately.
Yeah, and with the championship that has been so to and fro, I mean, you and I have experienced the highs and lows at this point with the drivers, with the fans. We've been sitting going, okay, what are the guys doing? How's this all turning out for them? We've seen some stunning moments. We've seen some moments that had us in tears. But it's come down to this, the final race, the swan song, the end of it all. It's 100% or nothing by the end of it. A lot of these teams looking to try and get that ultimate win and stand up on the charts. Next week we're going to be starting with our SRO community championship, which has got a lot of people excited. So you want to take as much drive into that as possible and not lose out through it all. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think our drivers want to win. Even if you're not in the fight for the championship, you want to be right there in the mix, putting in the fight to stand and say, look, I've done it. I've got it sorted out and got the motivation for the upcoming races, looking back at it.
Yeah, we've had all our ups and downs this whole entire season. I mean, we've had the joys of people experiencing their first wins, their first podiums. So, and yeah, with this, it's kind of sad. I might be a bit off point there. The question kind of slipped my mind at that point there, but no, the season has been full of action a lot, I can say.
Well, with the championship also being right at everyone's fingertips, everyone having a chance going for the big cherry, as we would call it, it's going to be a proper run to the wire. But just taking a look at the standings at the moment, if it stays at its current, if currently we see the grid finish as they are, it will be Daniel Rowe taking the points win with 343 points. Pedro Rodriguez would be on 308. Mahaith Musa would be on 269. If Mahaith Musa gets ahead of Andre Serradio, it would be closer in that. So, you know, there's going to be a lot to it. We're going to try and give you live predictions on the championship as it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very difficult to get it pulled off. Lots of little calculations. It is a provisional understanding, but at least we can start keeping track of where the points may filter, who's going to be able to take that championship win come the end of it. And honestly, I'm super, super excited for this because there's so much on the cards, but the lap time's getting quicker and quicker. Pedro Rodriguez looking to beat out that 2:16. Can he get it a little bit more down on the throttle? He is up on his time. A 2:16.2 is to beat. He's looking to lay it right into the cards and being a bit thick on the throttle there as he went through Eau Rouge. He's catching up to his teammate though, Daniel Rowe ahead of him. Andre Serradio lying in third. Mahaith Musa in fourth. Werner Skuman in fifth. Sean Faviers in sixth. Seventh, Jaco Kutzer. Then you got Jason Farmer, Mordrake Larsens, Connor Bergstrom, Darren Miller, Alan Patterson, Ruben Heineke, and Paul Fenter, who has yet to put out a lap time. He's called it quits. He's going to be starting from the back on this one. I mean, this is ultimately the major run. This is the grand finale. This is the one you want to make it work out, and you want to stand on the top of the podium. I mean, this is season 18. Can you believe it? For the RaceFace.Pro GT3 Championship. And with it only getting bigger, better, and stronger, with our sponsors jumping on board, SA Lube, Ondorf Machinery Mart, and so much more to come. Lots in the pipeline coming through, and opportunities that are coming through. It's going to be an exciting one. Honestly, I can't wait. But I'm also nervous of how this is all going to go. It's a guessing game.
Yes. It's a guessing game, as you said, and every team will have someone in the background busy calculating the points based as they go. They will have their little sheets calculated saying, okay, well, this is where currently after you need to be in this position in order to do this. They have all of their scenarios calculated. They have everything there to make sure that it counts. So, and as you said, season 18 already. That means it's full 18 seasons of action and drama, and with the sponsors coming on for the likes of SA Lube and Ondorf. It's just amazing to have, get these talents recognized and having these guys acknowledge this and okay, well, there's something that we can actually be a part of. So it's great, and it's going to be great recognition for them as everybody tries to see the final car cross the line there. But no, it's been a phenomenal 18 seasons. I haven't been a part of all of them, but I enjoyed the last couple. But no, it's great, and to be in the final part here of season 18 just makes it so much special.
It's going to be a wild one, that is for certain. An hour and 30 minutes of racing. We're going to see a champion crowned, And who is it going to be? Well, that is all to be decided. But we have got a bit of a spanner in the works for our drivers because they were practicing in the day. Time has moved on. Time has gone forward. And now, welcome to a little bit of the darkness of Spa-Francorchamps. So let's run through who is where in the grid. So, for the RaceFace.Pro GT3 Championship final round here at Spa-Francorchamps, it is going to be Pedro Rodriguez out in first place, followed by Daniel Rowe, Mahayath Musa, Andre Serradio, Werner Schumann, Conor Bergstrom, Jean Verfiers, Jaco Ickx, Jason Farmer, Mordred Claessens, Darren Miller, Alan Patterson, Ruan Heineke, and Paul Fenter. Rounding out our field here tonight for our Pro division. We do have 3 divisions actively running this evening. We've got our Pro, our Pro-Am, and Am that are all looking to step up their game. This is going to be a proper run. We've got Tim Bucher saying, was such an exciting season. Not sure if I missed it, but can we expect a season 19? Well, we are going to see a season 19, that's for certain. Next week, we have also got the SRO Community World Challenge Qualifier being hosted by RaceFace.Pro, so you can stand on the top of that if you really want to go for it. But a season 19 will happen, confirmed by Bertus Hugo, the CEO of RaceFace.Pro, going and saying it is going to happen. We got plenty of racing. I mean, we've got Assetto Corsa Competizione, we've got iRacing, and so much more right now. But we have got an incredible talent up and down through the field, depending if you're the most veteran of drivers or if you're a social, have fun type of guy. There is a race for you all. But what's going to happen now, it is hybrid racing. 1-2, locking out the top. It is Project Vapor, 3-4, and then we have got Pandacity 5-6. It is a team lockout right to the top of the charts, and we're about to go racing as they carve their way through the final corner, waiting for the green. It is time to go racing in moments. Come on! 70 kilometers an hour is too slow. Let's put it at 80. Well, don't. You get a drive-through, but just... There we go. Green lights, and we're racing. Pedro Rodriguez getting the jump. Daniel Rowe going to slot in right behind him. The 2 Project Vapors are going to go side by side as Andre Serradio giving Mahayath Musa a good running chase at the moment, with Werner Schumann trying to make up some headway. But out in front, hybrid racing looking to go and push each other to the limit. Pedro Rodriguez getting defensive. Daniel Rowe looks to the inside. Andre Serradio going to try and go around the outside. Couldn't get quite hooked in as yet. He's going to try and go late to the brakes. Oh, it gets squeezed out by Daniel Rowe, who goes and creates a bit of a concertina effect, and that slows down Andre Serradio. Mahayath Musa trying his best to keep in the chase, so it is going to be a proper run for them. You got Mahayath Musa, Werner Schumann keeping Conor Bergstrom at bay. Communications are going to be flying all the way through. Jean Verfiers will be communicating up front as well, saying, alright guys, I'm a little bit back, got Jaco Ickx right by me of Team Tryhard, and he's not going to give me any bit of room here. Then you got Mordred Claessens, got Jason Farmer, who went to that to back out. Darren Miller right onto the back of him. Alan Patterson, Paul Fenter up 1 position, and Heineke down in 14th at the moment.
Great start there from all our drivers, and definitely can already see that hybrid racing really trying to state their claim on this championship there. And we do not forget, they probably might call on the help of Jason Couture in the McLaren there if Jason can get the car lined up and functioning as it should. But no, it's going to be definitely quite a close one. But the BMW, the big Beamer, really having to try and stick in the slipstream to keep as close to hybrid as possible. I mean, Mahayath Musa, the one that can really do the upset in this one. Can he go and make it 3 back-to-back victories, or will there be...
Daniel Rowe outside tries to get the send through bus stop, and Pedro Rodriguez going and saying, what on earth, buddy? As he deals with it, Mahayath Musa going for an early stop. We've seen this before. Jason Farmer and Ruan Heineke pulling the same trick We've seen them do it before with those early pit stops for the massive, massive undercut at the end of the race. But Andres Serradio now having a good look at the back of Daniel Rowe's Lamborghini and saying, right, this is my opportunity to close up and get back into this fight. But Daniel Rowe going and forcing Beggar Krobler to push a bit harder. It looked like he went and cut Eau Rouge a little bit, and I wonder if track cuts are going to start becoming a bit more of a factor for these drivers. Eau Rouge is well known for it as Daniel Rowe looks for the inside line, couldn't get the pass done. Beggar Krobler holds his line, but Andre Serradio immediately shoving his nose in, trying to force the Lambo out of Daniel Rowe as quick as possible. So this is going to be a monstrous, monstrous run. And just a reminder for the championship. Oh, as we see going 3 wide, guys.
Oh, calm down earlier on the
Into
race.
no name. Oh, Beggar Krobler just eking out Daniel Rowe playing Biggie in the middle there. But 3 wide. I have not seen that pull off. Even in multi-class racing, it's landed in a heap. Well done to all drivers, but that's how you stress yourself properly. For Fears, though, going to be stressing himself. He's down through the order and landed up in the wall. Unfortunately, number 22 getting a yellow flag there. So let's see if we could go back and find out what happened to Fears. Around the right-hander, and did the tail just snap out underneath him? Heading into no name, hard on the brakes, swings it in. Yep, tail snaps out, gets adrift. Tried catching it, unfortunately. Nothing could be done at that point other than swing it round and get going once again. So he's a little bit down the order and having a little bit of a nightmare run there. So let's give you a bit of a championship recap here. Daniel Rowe currently leading the championship with us on 300 points. Beggar Krobler is in 2nd place in the championship. He is currently on 258 points. So if Daniel Rowe doesn't finish, Beggar Krobler gets first, he wins the championship. That's what's on the cards here. Then Mahiath Musa is on 234. So Mahiath Musa has an opportunity to usurp the likes of Beggar Krobler if Bego does not get it right. So we do have live predictions in terms of seeing what's happening. We'll try and give you a bit of a run as we see that is for Fears through Blanchemont. Not getting an easy time. That Ferrari going and just looking into a bit of a rough time out there. But we'll try and give you some live readings as we go through the race and as we go through the motions. It's 1 hour and 30 minutes of utmost close racing. It's going to be down to the final pit stops as we've already had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars that have completed their first pit stops. Alan Patterson and Fears both going into the pits now. Mahiath Musa, Ruan Heineke and Jason Farmer completing their pit stops earlier on in the race.
Interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting strategy, as I said to you. I mean, Mahiath Musa has done this strategy multiple times, so I'm pretty sure most of the drivers are already aware of this. But it's interesting. I mean, just look. I just keep on hearing as you move. I kept on listening as she was discussing the points as they were standing at this moment a moment in time there. So currently, that's what I don't know why I said try and combine point and time there. But even with the 2 teammates, both hybrid racing being close to one another, if one doesn't finish, then the other one gets a championship. It's they might play the team game, but trust me, when it gets to the final 15 minutes, if they are close in striking position, team orders are out of the window. It's going to be Barcelona, Mercedes all over again. Hopefully they just don't end up in the wall or on the grass there. But also earlier you mentioned regarding track limits, Blanchemont. Not Blanchemont, sorry. Now, Blanchemont is a tricky one if you run a bit too wide there, but then Eau Rouge, the most well-known one for the ACC guys, that's quite tricky. If you run a bit too wide, if you take the esports line, as we discussed it, a bit too wide there, then guess what? That's going to be a nasty little track cut, and you can say, how? I've done this multiple times in practice. Practice and race are quite difficult, as both myself and yourself know, Stephen. Practice is something else compared to the actual race.
Well, taking a look at championship points as it stands at the moment. Daniel Rowe would win the championship 343 points if he finishes in 2nd place. Pedro Rodriguez would be in second in the championship with 308 points. Then Mahath Musa on 257 points. Darren Miller would be on 218 points. Andre Serradio 175. Werner Skuman 172. Jason Farmer 169. Mordre Claessens with a B 164. Conor Bergstrom 161. Jaco Kutzer would be 154. Alan Patterson 145. Jean Verveers 107. Ruben Heideke on 98. And Paul Venter on 46. That is a live run if they finish as they stand as of right now, this minute the checkered flag comes up. But we still got an hour and 22 minutes of action, so don't count that as finalized gospel. Never go and take Stephen's words for gospel, because otherwise you're going to make bad financial decisions. Just a word of warning out there.
That's true, Akim. Well, not financial-wise, but maybe in terms of finishing the car in time.
I know, financials definitely.
Yeah, financials definitely no, and also in terms of me. I mean, yeah, don't ask me for financial. I'm the most financially responsible person I can ever find on the face of the planet. But no, it's always a prediction game until the final whistle blows on this race. With that checker flag drops, we do not know what the final stage is going to be. It can be anybody, unless of course there's a massive accident there. But as we see the lights of the cars illuminating the track here, I mean, the weather looks really gloomy out there, Stephen. It looks like it's so overcast and just it looks like very bad weather, one would say. I would not want to race or drive home, because we'd be afraid in my own personal car that something, that hail is going to come on and it's going to damage or ruin the entire thing. But Daniel Rowe, looking to a there, switchback.
Couldn't get it booked in. Pedro went and defended like no tomorrow, but Daniel Rowe is pushing as hard as he can. They got to realize though, Pedro cannot be turned round. If he goes down the field for whatever reason, if he slips further down, that loses second place. He cannot do it. He has to finish ahead.
Yeah, he has to finish. You don't want to risk your teammates' points by making contact with them, or even getting a penalty for yourself. I mean, Mahath Musa, he might be a bit down, but remember, he is going to climb back. That early stop strategy that he employs has been proven to be very, very rewarding in terms of his races. He has great stable racecraft. He's able to, and race pace, just to claw his way back up and get back from mistakes that others have made. So you don't want to risk that. If you have to be smart, if you want to make the move, communicate to your team and say, listen, I'm a bit faster, do the switch around and let me pull the other driver along to try and maximize our points in total. I mean, this is not only just also about team championship. You also want to maximize your points for a team. You don't want to risk it in the end in terms of by costing a few points in it because you turned your teammate around.
Yeah, well, that's always the worrying factor comes in. But just taking a look at the lap times. Daniel Rowe on the last lap time was actually faster. He wasn't faster on the last lap time, but he did a valid fastest lap time, which was a 2 minute 17.105. Pedro Rodriguez invalidated his lap time, did a 2:17.097, so he was a fraction quicker. But due to him going off track, it didn't count, which means he's already burned one of his markers. So all the drivers have 3 warnings, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not seen the World of Assetto Corsa Competizione, if you haven't joined us all season, where have you been? Glad to have you here. Coffee machines to the left-hand side, hot dogs are to the right. And trust me, turn up the radio because we're about to have an absolute huge amount of fun. And I'm not going to give you a 2-minute notice on the way out. But it is Daniel Rowe that is currently pushing Pedro Rodriguez. And Pedro, who is clinging on to hope at the moment, to goes across the line. He does set the fastest lap time of the race at 2:16.977 on his last run through. All the drivers have noted, though, from 8th place down, everyone's completed their first pit stop. It is our top 7 that are still yet to do a pit stop, going for a little bit of a longer game. I think the aim for the drivers all the way through is going to be trying to push things a little bit longer into the stints. Get to that halfway mark. I do believe we're going to see the cars pulling in roughly about 45 minutes is going to be the goal plan here. The tire degradation is not tremendously high at the moment. It is still reasonable for all cars. but take a look at the Ferrari domination. 4th, 5th, 6th, 9th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th are all Ferraris. We got 2 BMWs, 1 McLaren, one Lamborghini, 1 Aston Martin, 1 Porsche. So the Ferrari is definitely showing that it is a strong car this season, but next season it is going to be the less favored car because everyone's going to be moving towards the Mustang that has recently dropped, with a lot of positivity coming in for the car due to the nature of how it handles the curbs for anything that is a little bit tricky. Based on this season's racing and the track selection, it will definitely play into the favor of like the Mustang or your front engine cars. Your mid engines will be tapering off a little bit, I do believe, but as I said, that is just speculation. Alan Patterson onto the back of Jacky Ickx, talking about mid-engine. Jacky Ickx in the McLaren, getting an easy run up through Eau Rouge. Alan Patterson taking a little bit of a tighter line, I think going and flirting with the track limits there. Michael Massey has been hired to go and keep an eye on those track limits. And I can tell you the man has got an eye to tell you when you got it wrong. I've tried multiple times, doesn't get past. And Jim and Tim will test that. Jim has also been identifying the times. He's been keeping up to date with the points. And Tim, all with the cameras, keeping all live action, heading out straight to your screens out here on YouTube for RaceFace.Pro. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Paul Fenter now into the pits though. He's going to be another one getting his pit stops done and dusted. Our LNR driver we haven't seen much of this season is looking to improve his run through the order. And he's a little bit down in the championship, not within any fights whatsoever, but just in it for a huge amount of fun. He's looking to get to the top, and as he said, he's going to have to work for his next drink. The missus has gotten cold taps unless he comes home with the gold.
Absolutely, it's great to see Paul Fenter out there again. I mean, he started. He started. I don't think he was here from the beginning of the season, Stephen. I might stand corrected there, but definitely it's great to see him there in the lone Aston Martin. I think the last time I saw him in an Aston was a few years ago. I mean,
yellow flag for car number 22. Ooh. Sorry about that. That is for Fears once again running into a bit of a problem. This time going up through Eau Rouge. Seems like the Ferrari going and snapping in underneath him again. Up through Eau Rouge. Yep, there's the snap. Oh my heavens. Whoa. There is the impact. And last time we saw a GT3 take an impact like that, it left its engine and gearbox 50 meters down the way. So definitely a massive smack for Fears, not having an easy time out there. And it just seems like the Ferrari not playing ball with him at the moment, as we do have Paul Fenter, who's just left the pits. He's going to have a ruined drive. Here comes Alan Patterson. He's got Jacky Ickx right onto the back of him. So Alan managed to get ahead and will now be going through. But looks like Fears managing to get the car towed back to pits at this point. And will be just talking to the team saying, listen guys, something is not right here. We got to figure out a plan. Maybe go and move the traction control a little bit, change the brake bias, because that was a bit of an ugly snap that came underneath him. It's just, you start working through the toolbox of what have you got to play with here. Throttle shaping being another one of going and trying to reduce the amount of power that's when you put your foot down. Maybe that's an option to look at, as much as everyone doesn't want that to happen. You gotta look at the longevity of your run, not going and falling out of the wind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't think in the world of Assetto Corsa competition, I don't think the throttle shaping is there, but we can play around. We can play around with the mapping and play around with that, try to get it from there, and then as you said, always brake bias, TC2 for some cars that are lucky enough to have it, and then also the brake bars. I mean, the drivers have a multitude of different tools and tricks and everything at the fingertips to try and get the car to be more comfortable to them. Yes, it might have been comfortable in qualifying or in the practice sessions that were earlier, but the track conditions are different than what they practiced in or created their setups, and it's always going to be different.
Well,
So
it's 17
it's gotta be there.
degrees at the moment, so it is quite icy out there. They were qualifying when it was 20 degrees, so 2 degrees difference between it all. 3 degrees, I do apologize, math is terrible. But 3 degrees, what does it mean as a driver? Now, we know 3 degrees, a little bit cooler, you put your jacket on. That you just go and put your jacket on, you get a bit warmer. As a driver in these cars, Cameron, you've been at the height of GT3 racing here in South Africa for this World of Circuit Competizione and RaceFace. What does it mean when I say it's 3 degrees cooler on track to when you qualify? What needs to be done?
Well, of course, it's always going to be difficult to get the temperatures of the tires, and the pressures and the temperature of the tire back up to where you want them to be. I mean, all the drivers are always aiming to be between the window, I believe, of 26.5 to 27. I can't remember now anymore. That's long ago. As you see the Porsche being a bit of a step out there at the bus stop. So you want to try to push your pressures a bit higher to get the temperature more into the tire. Then it's going to be difficult. The carcass of the tire is going to be very cold, so you will have to make sure that your brakes are also trying to push the heat into the rim and then into the tire to get that grip there. I mean, otherwise you're going to be having some issues sliding around. I see Darren Miller diving into the pits there, not diving, just gently cruising into the long, slow pit lane that is Spa-Francorchamps. This time, at least the exit is close to where the pit exit is of the endurance pit lane, and not where you don't start on the other side of the endurance pit lane there. But you have to really you can brake later in the cold, I find myself, but you have to have temperature in your brakes. With the long straights that we have, the Kimmel straight, and also the whole run up from on the Blanchemont up into the bus stop, if you have your brake ducts too wide open, that cold there is going to get sucked into those ducts, and your temperature in your brakes are just going to fall. That means the rims are going to cool down, meaning the tires are going to cool down. So you really have to either close the brake ducts or move your brake bias a bit more on the forward, because you are going to be stopping on the nose of the car to get the nose to turn quickly in on these corners. So it's the driver has to work a lot more to get the temperature just to stick there. And again, otherwise your temperature in the tires is going to drop off phenomenally fast, meaning that you will not have grip. Your rear is going to step out, you're going to slide around, which leads to tire wear, meaning that you will not be able to keep your pace throughout the entire race, and going to cost you positions at the very end.
Well, taking a look at what it means to go through this pit lane, count on 75 seconds from start of pit lane to exit of pit lane. And that has so far been the average time for all our drivers. 75 seconds. I mean, that is just a nightmare if you're talking about it. I mean, in 75 seconds, you can go warm up a ready-to-eat meal and already start going and eating it. It takes you more time in 75 seconds than to pour yourself a glass of Coke.
Well, yeah, it's quite a long one, and the worst part is you're so used to your racing speed that you just go, and it feels so slow to be on the pit limit and going there. And sometimes you really just wish, listen, can you just open up the Grand Prix pit exit, which is right where La Source is turn 1, meaning that, oh cool, you make the turn and then you are flat out. But unfortunately, we do not have that luxury in ACC. You are stuck on the endurance pit limit, the endurance pit lane until the very end there. As you see now, the likes of Juan Heineke from Luxury Time Racing there, right on the back of our lone McLaren of Jacky Ickx. I'm sorry if I called you Jason. I might have made that mistake. And this is what's phenomenal. What I find quite shocking, Stephen. I mean, normally the likes of the McLaren is just a absolute monster on this track. I mean, we are running the LFM balance of performance, and for those that do not know, the balance of performance is just basically an equalizer. Some cars get weight taken out, some get weight added. For example, the McLaren has some added weight, and as this car is a phenomenal rocket ship. Think RB19 of last year in the Formula 1 world around this track. I mean, this is the first car that I've ever been able to run a 215 around the circuit, and now it seems to be struggling compared to like the Ferrari. I believe they had some taken out. I'm not completely sure. And it's or it's just the driver not being comfortable with the car. But I mean, it's great to see the different brands, the Porsche, the Lamborghini, the BMW, and the Ferrari running all in the top four. 4 different manufacturers in the top 4 there. And these are all a variety from, well, I think there's only one front engine car in that top 4 in the likes of Andres Serradio. And just take a look there at Moaz Musa, already up into 6th in the BMW. That is what an early pit stop will do for you. You will be able to capitalize much more on the mistakes of others, and also your tires will be a bit fresher unless you do not take tires, but you will be able to run a bit longer. But look at the teammates. Mondre Klaassen fighting Werner Schumacher. Now this is the young gun versus the old hand. Yes, Benesti a new team, but Mondre Klaassen really a new, not a rookie, but still a bit of a novice to the likes of sim racing there, and taking it to Werner Schumacher, one of our more established drivers. But now take a look here, the Lamborghini closing up on the Porsche again. It really... Daniel Rowe is not giving up without a fight. This is Italy versus Germany all over again. Well, in terms of car manufacturing matches, and going and fighting out. But Andres Rowe just sitting
0.051 when they cross the line, and
he stains it, and it sticks. Oh,
she's good. She's good. She made it
safe. In the terms of for our American baseball fans, he reached home plate, and the umpire yelled safe.
Can I give you a little fun fact? Useless fun fact. Do you know the equivalent
to Stephen Koenig?
Well, it is. Fun fact for anyone out there. Do you know, from pit entry to pit exit on the pit limiter, sitting at 50 k's an hour, it takes 75 seconds. That is longer than the concentration of a dwarf hamster.
Why
use it,
would anybody know that? Why would anybody know that? Why would anybody want to know that in the first question? I mean, I don't have words for this. This is like late nights commentating that when you're exhausted in your endurance race and you don't know what to say at this point.
No,
I mean, who would Google that fact?
I'm being genuine. I'm being genuine. If you think about it, while you're on the pit limiter, you can see who's got the attention span of a hamster and who's got the attention span of a driver. I can tell you that I have the attention span of a dwarf hamster.
Both will fall into that category, because I want to fall asleep by the time I reach my pit box.
So there we go. For anyone out there that wants to break the ice with a great conversation starter, 75 seconds is the max attention span of a dwarf hamster.
I humbly apologize for everybody who's like, what was that? Why is that fact now out there on the world of YouTube? Especially
now,
on the RaceFace.Pro platform.
Hang on, I'm going to bring it back of why I'm going to talk about that. All the drivers that we have currently in the field are in university, college, and at work. They have worked at least from 8 till 5 in their jobs. Okay, they've been awake for well over 12 hours. Every single driver. Yeah.
I could feel that, myself, and I'm not driving.
In turn, they are now going and racing as hard as they can with a change of light. So it means your focus is needed to go up. You've got headlights that are going. Depending on the hertz of your monitor from flashing, it means your eye strain is going to be doubled. So think about your eyes at this point. From what was originally 13 hours that you have taken on, racing in these conditions, looking at the headlights and the focus that is required. Let's go with the likes of Pedro Rodriguez as we're on board. This is his view. Traveling at what you guys are currently watching is at 2K 60 FPS. That means his eyes are the equivalent of 16 hours of eye strain. Bear in mind that's if they had a good night's sleep. So 75 seconds is a long time. The reaction time of a person is also slowed down till about a second. So it means by the time they get out of the pit lane, their reaction time is only a second versus 0.5 of a second. Which means make a mistake, less chance of catching it, more chance of hitting a wall. Fun fact with Steven, now you know, and that's why I brought up the hamster. You are welcome.
Well, does this even factor in if they've been working on a computer screen the entire day?
Yes. This is based on working on a computer. Oh, as we do have contact with Paul Venter, and it looks like Darren Miller in the middle of nowhere as well.
Oh, wait, that's a McLaren, sorry.
That was the McLaren, and that was Jason Farmer. So let's actually go back and see what happened to the likes of Darren Miller. He had Paul Venter on the back of him. Paul pushing as hard as he can. Does he meet the wall, or does he get a little bit of a thrill? Looks for the undercut. Oh, and there's a touch. Oh boy. Shenanigans.
Paul, you will have to punish yourself by taking a Steery Stumpy with ice.
Listen, no one
Steven doesn't like that. I love it, okay?
No one deserves that fate. Sorry, that is... Listen. Go back in your box. Go back in your box. Alright, well, with that being said though, Daniel Rowe currently out in first place, getting the overtake done over Pedro Rodriguez in second, Andre Serradio in third, Werner Skuman in fourth, Mordred Larsen is in fifth place, at sixth is Mahath Musa, Conor Bergstrom, Alan Patterson, Ruan Heineke. Then we've got Jason Farmer and Jaco Kutzer. They are side by side through bus stop. Jason Farmer running out a little bit wide, will carry a bit more momentum though, as he's got a little bit more of a run, will hold the inside line, comes across the nose of Jaco Kutzer, gets it under braking, runs out very wide over the sausage curb. That's going to compromise his drive. Jaco's going to have a good look at it on the outside. Now Jason Farmer needs to close that door as quick as possible, does so just to ensure that he has the lineup through Eau Rouge, and Jaco Kutzer just carrying the momentum through, will have zero downforce on the way through. Means he'll be a bit quicker, but had to get out of the gas as quick as he made it, because now suddenly the nose not having as much pressure as he would want as he pushes his way through. So, oh, there we go. That's what I was talking about. No pressure on the nose. That's when you adjust your brake bias towards the front to try and slow the nose down, or you bring the brake bias to the rear if you're braking a little bit earlier to just go and help pivot the nose. So one thing that people will be wondering, why do you want to change your brake bias while racing? That's precisely the case. Changing your brake bias will affect your tire degradation, because it's now moving your braking points, where you're putting strain on the car, and also depending on where the guys are around you. If you're a lot closer to drivers, you want to try and get the car to pivot a bit better, then run into any issues, unless you are going into a world of hurt. And this is what our pros are working on while driving, constantly fiddling with little aspects of your brake bias, your traction control, and your ABS to ensure that you can stay at the top of the charts.
Yes, and also it also depends on the driver's driving style. For example, if they prefer to have a bit more of a pointy nose compared to other drivers. Again, I'm going to use a lot of examples between myself and Steven, because we both have very much different driving styles, and we have shared a car quite a lot over the past year almost. That Steven likes to have a bit more of a balanced braking. If I have that correct, Steven, you're a bit more neutral, backwards, neutral, a bit more balanced, neutral side. Where for me is, I'd like to do my braking all in the front, so I try to move my braking a bit more forward to the point where I'm comfortable. But another thing that drivers can do, if they are close behind someone who they are trying to follow and overtake, if they go into a braking zone, it's something that I learned is, don't brake on your normal braking points. Break at least 50 meters to 100 meters before where you would normally brake. Everybody has to earn braking points. Sometimes the guy in front of you might brake earlier, leading that you are so zoned in on your brake points, leading that you miss the brake lights ahead of you, and then you unfortunately come into contact with your nose, meeting their rear diffuser. As you see the move here of Darren Miller on the likes of Jacky Ickx, who's got to be brave on the brakes, and Jacky Ickx is still just edging up forward a bit there ahead of it. And
Fenter inserts himself into the fight as well, under braking when to close it down. So Miller in turn trying to get past Jacky, did not get the pass done. Paul Fenter has now got back into the fray, and remember, Paul Fenter and Miller had contact earlier on during the course of the race, so they will be keep that in notes. Unfortunately, we have had one retirement out of the race, and that is for Fears, unfortunately, calling it quits. Car just not working to his run. So I mean, this is what it's got to at this point. The driver's trying to figure out how this is going. I do want to add something here, because while we're watching a bit of a fight out on circuit, there is a fight in the championship points, because Jason Farmer, if he stays where he is will finish with 172 points. Werner Schumann will finish on 172 points. Conor Bergstrom, 164 points. And Mordre Claessen's 164 points. So we have got currently 4 cars that are tying between each other. So 2 drivers each tying each other in points as it stands between one another. So something to keep an eye out for, because that is going to change things, because we have 3 teammates that can dictate how things go, and 1 LTR of Jason Farmer will be able to pull his way through. So is there going to be a move in the points to try and help each other out? Well, we're going to have to find out, as we see Paul Fenter tried looking for a move on Darren Miller, eventually chose not to go for the pass. He backed out of it, or was going to wait it out for the likes of Eau Rouge, as they're going to be fighting their way up through the hill, carry the momentum. Jacky, having an easy drive out, will be going and putting a lot of dirty air back towards Darren Miller and Paul Fenter, who are running very, very close against one another. A bit of a passing move that looked like it may start to arise. Mordre Claessen and Werner Schumann, as Claessen tries to go for a bit of an undercut on Schumann, who's not having the easiest time out on the circuit at the moment. He is battling it out there. Currently 8th in the championship, with Mordre Claessen, who is running 9th in the championship. So these two are fighting for championship points, and are going to give it an absolute horn side by side as they make their way down, heading towards Eau Rouge. Who's going to back down? We know Werner Schumann doesn't like backing down. We know Mordre Claessen has got everything to gain. Little bit of a touch between the two, and both get the off track.
This is some close fighting between the drivers. Now, we do know that the Pedassi owner, the owner and team principal of Pedassi always has the aspect saying, listen, let the drivers fight, let them drive. But I think this time you have to say, you can fight, but please bring the cars back in one piece. I mean, look at, we've discussed the multiple points that are up for grabs, as we see the Darren Miller finally getting past the likes of Jacky Ickx there, but now has Paul the Wall Fenter behind him, who's also closing down in that Aston Martin. I still like the V12 Aston, sounds a lot more better there, but we discussed earlier that the drivers out there are fighting for position. The 4 drivers, 3 teammates and the 1 LTR. The thing is, with the likes of Conor Bergstrom, he can get more points by climbing up, which he has done since the last time we've already checked. He's already gone past Adam Patterson, meaning he has scored some points there. So it's always about who can still get more out of the race, and who is kind of stuck in their position. They can't get more out of it. They are cemented, and this is their position going to be. So it's not done and dusted just yet, as we have 54 minutes left of this race, and anything is still on the cards. You do not know what's going to happen. It can be a wreck on the final lap or the penultimate lap. You never know. Well, it can even have a Toyota of 2016, I believe, that stopped right as they crossed the line, but still have one more lap to go.
Or the BMW for 2023 for the Japanese endurance, where he ran out of fuel 50 meters right before the line.
So So you never know. You better hope that you've calculated enough fuel, but you never know. As you see, Monza Claassen is really trying to get past the likes of Werner Schumann there. But these two will still be fighting one another. They are not giving up. Monza Claassen, unfortunately, just getting the rear loose there and not getting the drive out of corner, giving a bit of a breathing space to the likes of Werner Schumann, dropping to a gap of 0.8. But look at this, pull the wall on the inside of the hairpin there. I can't remember the names. I only know 2 names or a couple of names around the circuit. Otherwise, not that well known.
Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 3, and problem. That's when you get it wrong.
I do know for the likes that the corner that we used to refer to, we refer to as no name. Apparently, it has been dubbed Speaker's Corner.
Well, here we go. This is the pass getting done and dusted. Jaco getting it completely out of shape. Paul putting his nose firmly in. Does run out a little bit wide just to cut off the nose. And just a little bit more drive than the rest. But lots of steering angle being put in there. Now I think the tyres are starting to reach a bit of a drop-off point. He did pit only for a splash and dash, not for a complete pit stop. Drivers now into the 52 minutes left of the race, and still lots to go on at the moment. Daniel Rowe out in first place with a dominating lead of 2.8 seconds over Pedro Rodriguez. Then Andre Serradio, Werner Schumann in fourth. Fifth place is Mordre Claassen. Now we get to the interesting part. Sixth place, Mahath Musa, who's already done one stop, followed by Conor Bergstrom, Alan Patterson, Ruben Heineke. Jason Farmer actually has dived into the pits, so Darren Miller will get past him, Paul Fenter will get past him, Jason Farmer's in the pits, and Jaco Ickx has come into the pits, so they are getting their final stops done and dusted at this point. So these two cars will be completing their pit stop in 51 minutes, which does put me down for my guess on the strategy of 45 minutes will be the stopping point, the halfway mark in the race to get the stop done and dusted to ensure they get it. So let's see if Jason Farmer and Jaco Ickx, will they replace tires? This is where the question comes in, because if they do, that tells me the tire degradation is enough on these cars that will warrant our front runners needing to go and swap out their tires. So keep in mind, it's going to be close. We do have live timing up in the form of Pit Wall. Feel free to go to the description below and click on it. Next week, though, big news coming out that you can go and sign up right now on SimGrid for RaceFace.Pro for the SRO World Community Championship. This one is going to be hosted by RaceFace.Pro. You want to be a part of it if you want to go and contend yourself against the best in the world. If you think you have what it takes to beat
sorry.
If you had the thoughts of being Jardier or being the next Jimmy Broadbent, that's the way to do it. But two teammates having a bit of contact. So let's go into Mordre Claassen and see what happened as he was in the tow. Did he get caught out in the braking marker? There's the first, there's the second. Oh, way caught out, missed the brake marker, got the little bit of a hit. Both cars okay, but I'm sure Werner Schumann not going to be too impressed with that one. And Claassen's getting a little bit caught out in the headlights, getting that tunnel vision on the way through, landing up with a bit of a problem. So the driver's having to dial it back a little bit, think about the long-term gains that is needed for this race as it stands, because we go back to the championship. Daniel Rowe will be winning out the championship if he maintains his position. Pedro Rodriguez would be second, Mahath Musa would be third, Darren Miller would be fourth, Andre Serradio, Werner Schumann, Jason Farmer, Conor Bergstrom, Mordre Claassen, Jaco Ickx, Alan Patterson, as Jaco Ickx is still parked in pits. That's a long time he's been in the pits.
And that can't be damaged. I mean, that car doesn't seem to have a bonnet loose or a body panel that's loose. I wonder if he has decided to park the car and try and help the sister team, the likes of Hybrid Racing. But that, I mean, the Hybrid Racing has been as far up the road. They are.
But why would you want to do it? You were on a hot charge. I mean, Jaco Krutzer was on a monumental run right the way through, and now for it to suddenly come to this, where it comes to a head, where he's parked the car.
Well, it can be a variety of factors. Might be not getting the pace they expected out of the car. I mean, we did talk about the time of day being different than what they're practicing. I mean, that's also something that not a lot of people really take it. Well, that's not considered an aspect in terms of the car. Of the racing. I mean, if it's colder, so. Yes, colder, you're getting a lot more cool air into the engine, but it does mean the performance is being, well, you're getting a bit more speed.
Why
and
throw?
that.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah, why throw it out though?
No, I'm gonna call it right here. If Jaco doesn't have a terminal problem with the steering or a family or that type of stuff, if he doesn't finish, he throws out a top 10 in the championship. Why?
Ooh.
Why would you do that? That is what shatters the mind right now. Which I'd love to get some insights of what exactly has gone on with that McLaren, because as it stands, he's in for a loss. He's in for a major loss. If he doesn't finish this race, if he doesn't see the checkered flag, he has taken a top 10 in the championship for Pro, and it's gone.
It's something that we wish. Well, if they
well,
are.
There we go. Leaders coming in 46. So I was 1 minute off, but Andre Serrat,
continuing.
yeah, he's going to take first place away from Daniel Rowe and Pedro Rodriguez. We are going to be keeping an eye on Mahaith Musa. But yeah, for anyone that's a team tryhard, who knows Jaco, please, we'd love to find out what's happened, because that car doesn't get going if it doesn't see the end of the race. He's thrown away a top 10 in the championship.
I wonder if it's possible for us to just jump on board and see if that engine is even running. That is the question.
So let's go and see. Tim's currently there. No.
Engine off.
Engine off. Engine is off. He has shut down that car.
What is going on with the McLaren there? Oh boy,
But this is the thing. I mean, you were on a charge. It's not like he was like what we saw with Fears, battling with the car. It was snapping underneath him. We're not seeing that. But
the car was relatively stable and was quite fast. I mean, yes, he did lose some ground there, but that's just normal in terms of aero rush or not behaving as it should. But now here comes the question: when regarding other than the TTHR team and that McLaren, what's going to happen there? What is Mahaith Musa going to do? Because currently this is falling right into his lap as we see Paul Fainter exiting there. He gets past, but when will he pit next?
Mahaith Musa is currently in second place. So Andre Serradio, Mahaith Musa, then Daniel Rowe. Pedro Rodriguez is usurped in the pits. So Werner Schumann getting ahead of Pedro Rodriguez. We saw these two come to blows last week, where the guys had a good go at one another. So let's see how this is going to turn out as rivalries reignited. Conor Bergstrom getting out on the track ahead of Mordred Claessens, Darren Miller. Alan Patterson is in the pits for his final pit stop. Ruben Heineke is in the pits for his final stop. We're starting to see those final stops coming into play as we see Conor Bergstrom going out a little bit wide. He landed up with a bit of a problem. That allowed the likes of Pedro Rodriguez to come back at him and get going. So number 97 not having an easy time out there. Let's see if we can go and take a look.
Poor contact, because Pedro lost a lot of time there.
Well, he went for the dive on the inside.
And pushes him a bit wide, snapping the car, and Pedro had to avoid there.
Yeah, no, that was a saving grace. Well done to both drivers there. I think Pedro wasn't too impressed of the move. Andre Serradio's into the pit, so that means Mahaith Musa will inherit first place.
Unless he pits.
Unless he pits. But then he would usurp to it. Daniel Rowe, though, How's this? 32.5 seconds in the box. What does that mean? Well, that means he's... No. It means he's put a new set of boots. He's put a new set of boots on that car, so it is ready to go. Pedro Rodriguez, 35.1. Werner Schumann, splash and dash, 5.4. Conor Bergstrom, 5.4. Mordred Claessens, 5.7. Darren Miller, 6.2. Jason Farmer, 33.7. So that's new set of tires. Paul Fenter, new set of tires on his car as well. So at the moment, we're starting to see drivers lose out that little bit of time. Will the tire change be the make it or break it for these drivers? Mahiat Musa is on the same set of tires that he started with, trying to push himself a little bit further. Ruben Heineke coming out of the pits. So for LTR, lying in 9th place, keeping ahead of fellow LTR driver Jason Farmer, will be going after the likes of Darren Miller, who's making his way through bus stop now, and will be continuing on the drive. He's not going to pull into the pits. Alan Patterson still up and going as he gets himself out of the pits and back up to pace. Andre Serradio doing exactly the same. Werner Schumann will be closing up on him. So, changing up the ball game a little bit here. Andre Serradio needs to play defense against Werner Schumann, because Werner Schumann at the moment would finish with 172 points behind Jason Farmer, and Andre Serradio will finish with 175 points if he keeps ahead. So this is going to be an interesting run. Pedro Rodriguez, who's running in 2nd place, will only finish, if he stays where he is, on 290 points, which means Mahiat Musa on 284. Pedro Rodriguez cannot afford to drop anywhere lower than 5th position. If he drops lower than 5th, that means Mahiat Musa finishing in 1st will take 2nd place. So for Mahiat Musa at the moment, he's going to be on the line talking to the likes of Werner Schumann, Andre Serradio, Conor Bergstrom, Mordred Claessens, anyone that's willing to listen at this point and say, guys, I need Bago back down that field. Do everything that you can to try and defend. Go as hard defense as possible. Pedro Rodriguez putting in the fastest lap time, doing a 2:17.4 as his quickest lap time. Let's see if Mahiat Musa is going to get himself. He's sorting himself in the pits, but this is going to be a way up game because it's a late strategy stop of whether it's going to work out. I don't think he can get a fresh set of tires on to save time here. This is going to be, hope you nurse those tires as much as possible to get it to the line, because Pedro Rodriguez, Werner Schumann, Andre Serradio, and Daniel Rowe will usurp him at the moment.
Ooh, Werner Schumann into the pits.
Okay, so Werner Schumann diving into the pits. That frees up Pedro Rodriguez. That does work out. That does work out. Conor Bergstrom and Mordred Claessens. So that was a team order for Pandacity to get all drivers in the pits in one shot. That was a team order to get cars in the pits. So instead of staggering...
They're going to all stack together. I hope your pit box is not close to one another, boys, because otherwise you are going to be having some issues. All the Ferraris are jumping into the pits.
So
well, the remaining Ferraris.
Miller's into the pits, so he's doing his final stop, which leaves, at this point, Daniel Rowe, Andre Serradio, Pedro Rodriguez will need to do one more stop in 39 minutes and 34 seconds. That is what has to be done. Our top 3 have now had their hands forced by the rest of the field. The question is, how close can Mahiat Musa get in the run to ensure that he stands at the top? I mean, this is where the thought process comes in. This is where chatting to the drivers, getting an understanding of what's happening here, the driver's mentality comes in. Have you got someone in your ears that's feeding you this type of information? I mean, Cameron, you've had this before. Can flat out say, both you and I have seen this before, where you start feeding your driver information saying, this is your target. Don't worry about anyone else. Get to this guy. This is what you need to do. You need to gain 2 positions to ensure that you get the points. You don't want to drop back. And this is where having that person in your ear, or having that bit of information coming in, filtering down in the radio comms, does make a world of difference in the final race. But, as you know very well, Cameron, that information is a double-edged blade, because you can go and work it out in terms of, well, I need to gain 2 positions, but at the same time, I need to gain 2 positions.
Yeah, it's a give and take one, Stephen. I mean, specifically regarding myself, you've been the voice in my ear multiple times saying, well, you need to do this and this, and then the downside is for drivers, or some drivers, they tend to zone in on only one piece. You need to be 2 positions up, and then they start pushing too hard, too much. And yes, then that will mean they will go destroy their race by either crashing or spinning or doing something that they should not be doing, and which normally ends up throwing away the race. So it's all about, yes, if you have someone in your ear, the job of your engineer then, or your spotter, or even the strategist just busy calculating everything there, they need to give only key information by saying push now, and just say push now, or do this. Do not. The best would not be to give a target. Well, normally I would say that. Don't give a target.
Be a hamster.
Yeah,
maximum 75 seconds. Be a hamster.
Yeah, be like the hamster in Steven's computer on Tuesday, trying to power the computer while everything is going on.
This is it. But now Andre Serradio is in a bit of a key position here for all the Project Vapor. He's got Pedro Rodriguez behind him. If Andre can back Pedro Rodriguez up a little bit more and allow Mahath Musa to make up some ground, Mahath Musa 65 seconds behind them. So Pedro Rodriguez needs to drop back lower than Mahath Musa, Werner Schumann, Conor Bergstrom. So if he drops currently into 6th position, that means Mahath Musa can take 2nd from him. Daniel Rowe at the top of the pack, currently out in 1st, has done enough to secure his championship. No one can touch him on that one. Only way that it will not work out in his favor is if something goes terminally wrong in that car. But the race for 2nd place is now falling onto the cards of not only Pedro Rodriguez and Mahath Musa, but everyone around them as well, because it just takes Werner Schumann to attack Mahath Musa, and that will be the end of that championship charge. It will take Andre Serradio to bottle up Pedro Rodriguez into a critical mistake that can throw him down the order. And they are not giving much room to breathe as well. I mean, we've seen Pedro Rodriguez onto the back of Andre Serradio, 0.3 of a second, just can't find a way around Andre at this point, who's doing just enough to park that BMW on the apex every step of the way. Pedro Rodriguez trying to get the run through Eau Rouge. He will go to the outside, hope for an attack. This is where Andre can start leaning on Pedro a little bit. Make sure you give a car's width, both of them being very nice to one another. I've got to say, very, very well done on both drivers to keep it together. Pedro, puts the lean onto Andre Serradio. Does compromise his drive.
Contact.
Secondary contact coming into play there. So I was talking about keeping it clean, but that got a little bit wild for both at the moment. But Andre Serradio is currently Mahath Musa's shield and sword on the way through. Pedro Rodriguez knows this. He's getting this information and getting told, listen, you've got to get past this guy. You cannot hang around. Because at the points as it stands, Pedro Rodriguez will finish with 296 points. Mahath Musa, 269. Pedro still needs to stop. Serradio can force Pedro to pit later. 75 seconds in pit lane to get it done and dusted. Our top 3 still needing to pit. Andre Serradio is lying currently down in the championship. He's not too phased about his one. He's 6th in the championship as it stands. 137 points. He's going to be scoring some points that will pick him up through the run. But what he can do is change 2nd place in favor of Project Vapor. We talked about that lockout of hybrid racing 1st and 2nd, Project Vapor 3rd and 4th, and Pandassi 5th and 6th. Now we're starting to see the effects of it. Pedro Rodriguez pulls into the pits. He's decided that he's losing way too much time here. in the drive. But where is Mahath Musa out on track? That is where the question is going to be coming in. Will Mahath Musa be able to go and claw his way back? We're going to bring up the track map. There is the number 54. That is Mahath Musa making his way around. Then we have got Pedro Rodriguez, who's in the pit. So there is half a track between the two of them. But we do know 75 seconds is the pit stop time. Mahath Musa will just, and I mean just, get ahead of the number 15 of Pedro Rodriguez. It's going to be close. It's going to be nail-biting for both drivers and both teams. They're going to be screaming over those radios, go, 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 with all, in fact, everything can go on. Andres Serradio has done his job and has got Pedro Rodriguez pushed back enough that Mahath Musa has an opportunity here. Will Werner Schumacher be able to take the opportunity and close up and pull Conor Bergstrom, who's only 1.2 seconds behind him? I mean, this is where things start coming into play. It is going to be a proper run down to the wire, and that does not take out the account of if something goes wrong, as we see Pedro Rodriguez exiting the pits. He's done enough. Try and get some heat into those tires.
Where's Mahath Musa?
He's
How far
him.
back?
Mahath Musa's passed. So he's got it done.
That's a brilliant strategy again from Mahath. Now it is really, can Mahath keep it on track there? And will the likes of Andre Serradio be a factor here? Will Andre be able to play a hand and just come ahead of Pedro there and just keep him a bit more back? But I don't think so. I mean, the Ferrari, the Porsche has had phenomenal pace, but we do know that also it chews its tires. And with 31 minutes 28 seconds left, the car still has quite a way to go. Has he used his tires up too early to try and get past the likes of Andres Serradio and
We've
failing?
got another. It looks like we starting to get a retirement that's going in and out. That's Jaco Krutzer, who blipped on and off.
He was. I did saw earlier that he was blinking or blipping in and out of the server there earlier. I wonder if he's having some internet issues there, connection issues there on this side. But I hope he can get it sorted to at least complete the race and still get some points. A finisher is still some points there. But Werner Schumann is about 31 seconds behind the likes of Pedro Rodriguez there, really trying to close the gap, but having a bit of a difficult time. But look behind him, his two teammates, the likes of Conor Bergstrom and Mondre Klaassen, the two young guns, the novices to the simulator. Conor coming from the F1 world and Mondre just joining the ACC and sim racing world. They've only been driving for a season. The previous season, this is the second season in the likes of RaceFace and the simulator, and ACC, and they have made the progress all the way up to pro, which is phenomenal, and it's great to see new talent coming through there. But this is looking quite good for the Pendacity brand. Both 5, 6 and 7 good points, both all three top 10. It's just now keeping it together and maybe clawing some positions back if the likes of Pedro Rodriguez makes a mistake, Mahath Musa makes a mistake, Andres Serradio makes a mistake. Daniel Rowe, I'm afraid, that's already checked out. He's gone. You won't be able to catch him at all. I mean, Daniel Rowe is on another level, I would say. But it's great to see the new guys still keeping up and really placing themselves among the top 10. It's great to see that, even in point standings. Very well done there. As we see the likes of Mondre Klaassen going through the bus stop there and approaching the line to complete a lap, and Conor Bergstrom there heading towards turn 1, staring at the tail lights of Werner Schumann, the pro, the more experienced driver for the simulator. But I do know that at the end of this season, as soon as the flag drops on this race, these Ferraris are getting shipped back to Maranello, saying goodbye. I do not want to see you again. They are going to consider different cars. I do know that they are looking at the Porsche and the Ford for the likes of the Ford for Werner Schumann and the Porsche for Mondre Klaassen. That's a bit of insight. I don't know if I'm supposed to share that, but if you get some information, always get some information. But here we see the leader, Daniel Rowe, heading up to Eau Rouge, and 30 seconds behind him is Andres Serradio, really trying to turn up the pressure. But Daniel Rowe looking over the crest there at Radeon, stable as a rock in that Lamborghini. I miss the old Huracan Evo. I just miss it.
No, I've got to say, I like the new one where it's got the little fin on the back. It just finishes that up. Well, as it stands, Mahath Musa will finish up on 272 points. Bago probably on 293 points. So Bago will still hold that second place. Bar it a bit close than planned. I think he has done enough to keep ahead. But if Werner Schumacher and Conor Bergstrom could be a factor, that will throw him down the order. I don't think it's going to happen, though, unless a mistake is made by our drivers, which at the moment looks like everyone keeping it all together, not having too much of a problem. They still sticking it out, keeping a easy drive. So I do think, as it stands, drivers are just cycling around for the last 27 minutes of this race, saying, okay, let's focus on what we need to do here. It's going to be a long drive. It's going to be a long workout. We've got to see how our driver is going to be over the course of the entire race. 27 minutes and 20 seconds ago. Majority of the drivers are on new fresh set rubber from their last pit stop. Bar one or two off, like Pedro Rodriguez did a splash and dash on his last pit stop. And yeah, that's about that. Pedro Rodriguez is the only one that did a splash and dash on his last pit stop. So he is on an older set of tires compared to the rest of his competitors. Daniel Rowe, though, out in the top. He's pulling into the pit, so getting his pit stop done and dusted. Andres Serradio, will he pit? I think he will also join in the pits for this one, not to lose too much time to the likes of Werner Schumacher, which is going to be his target to stay ahead of at this point. Jason Farmer is closer to him in the championship, so he is going to be keeping an eye on Jason Farmer as he hopes to keep ahead there. Andres Serradio at the moment will finish up on 180 points if he stays in his current positioning. And Jason Farmer will be on 173. Werner Schumacher on 169. Conor Bergstrom on 166. Mordred Claassen to 159. Jakob Kotze 149. Alan Patterson 144. Fafier's 107, but he's retired. Ruben Heineke on 102. Paul Venter with 42. So there's still some positions to be gained during the course of this race. That's keeping our drivers on their toes, trying to figure out what's going to work for them and how they're going to claw their way in for the victory. Not going to be an easy time, though. Not going to be that one-shot bam all the way to it. Paul Venter, though, can put a spanner in the works for Jason Farmer, who is currently up in the top of the charts with finishing on 173 points if he stays where he is. But Paul Venter can drop him down and actually go and switch that Werner Schumacher and Conor Bergstrom can get ahead of him in the points. So Jason Farmer's got a lot of pressure on hand and is going to be keeping a very mindful eye on that Aston Martin right behind him that can throw him way down the order than planned.
Yeah, it's now having to watch what the driver ahead of you is doing, and if all the stops done and dusted, now it's all about mind games. Will you have done enough? Andres Serradio has done the impossible and has gone out in front of Pedro Rodriguez. Now remember, Pedro already has a bunch of heat in his tires. The tires and carcass are ready, meaning that he can really go full out there. Andres Serradio dropped some temperature while going through that pits, getting a splash and dash and going from there. This is going to be the ultimate team game. But it won't be much, though.
Andres Serradio is going to be a bit of a shield here to Pedro Rodriguez. He can take a lot of the punch out of the championship, as Mahath Musa will be on 277 points, Pedro currently on 293. So Pedro Rodriguez needs to try and get a little bit of a giddy up and go and get round the likes of Andres Serradio. But if Andre can back him up just enough, if he can force a mistake that brings Werner Schumacher into the fray of things, who, might I remind you, is 35 seconds back, so it's going to have to be a really big mistake, he may play advantage to his teammate, and the team games are starting to roll into the fact here. You actually can't be mad at it. I've got to say, a lot of people get frustrated. They say, oh, this teammates is a problem. But given you put in the same spot, in that same condition, you've got your teammates around you, you're going to have the same problem. You're going to have the drivers push their luck. They're going to go and get very defensive. They're going to get very boisterous with one another and ensure that they can try and help each other out. I mean, that's naturally with racing with teammates. You start playing the long game with one another. Too little, too late, possibly. Well, we're going to find out as Pedro Rodriguez frantically looking to try and get around Andres Serradio and not having the easy time. He's going to keep right onto that rear bumper up through Eau Rouge. It's as if you slack off the throttle, maybe. And no, Pedro Rodriguez hops a curb. And that is going to go and throw a little bit of a problem. So not ideal circumstances for Pedro Rodriguez. Now, Pedro's got to be careful here, because that is 2 that we have seen so far, pushing those track limits. If he gets any more, it will take him out of the championship. He cannot afford a drive-through penalty. That is 75 seconds. You're going to put it on yourself. Andres Serradio knows that fact and is going to be trying to force a mistake to happen. So lots and lots of little things coming in. Drivers having to think a little bit more and start wondering, is the attack worth it or not? If I was in Pedro Rodriguez's shoes right now, I would actually come off the gas, not worry about Andres Serradio, because I've secured enough points to hold second place. I've got enough of a gap behind me to Werner Schumacher that can damage my points. Another side-by-side moment as Paul Fenter and Jason Farmer are coming by. Remember, if Paul Fenter gets past Jason Farmer, that is going to switch the bite out of the normal run for Werner Schumacher to get a bit closer to him. So
the switchback.
very, very close between the two. Farmer around the outside gets it all buttoned up, and the Aston Martin having nothing to talk about there. We'll have to go and just be very cautious as Paul Fenter trying to fight it out with the LTR team, and knows these two drivers know each other very, very well from Logistical Nightmare Racing, from Sarko and RaceFace.Pro. They have done battle in and out, day in, day out, and nearly every single day of the week. So they know each other. They know where to push those buttons and how they can lean on one another safely to ensure that it's all okay. But yeah, at the moment, we've got so many different things happening out on the track that can change the race as they go. It's got me nervous, it's got me excited, it's got me wondering who is going to be able to hold the top spots come the end of the race. Mahath Musa though, and I want to throw basically a bit of a flyer here. If Daniel Rowe, for whatever reason, loses 10 seconds, Mahath Musa gets first. Mahath Musa would actually score enough points to jump Pedro Rodriguez if Pedro stays in fourth.
So now it is now is the thing about who's listening from the hybrid racing crew and letting them know, like, okay, Daniel, do not slack down and don't cost us a 1-2 in the drivers championship here. But Stephen, I just realized we both made a bit of an oopsie throughout this entire broadcast.
Yes.
We've been told, we've got informed about this last week that it's not Muath, it's Muath. And we kept on saying Muath. Muath, I'm sorry about that. It's force of nature, it's taken habit for us. But
I've spent 4 years saying the same thing the entire time.
It's gonna happen. It's habit. So we do know that his family is listening there. So apologies to Muath's family there. But
Mr. and Mrs. Musa, I do apologize.
His wife and children, I believe, are watching there, and then also if his parents are watching, then also
apologies to the whole Melissa family. That's all I could say there. But I mean, just looking at this, there's lots on the cards here. Muath is banking on Bago finishing off lower than fourth. Bago can keep up his pace, he will hold fourth. He's 35.9 seconds ahead of Werner Schumann. There's no reason to actually fight. There's no reason to actually go and hammer each other as hard as possible. So,
Yes.
if in the shoes of the driver, I would actually go and say, listen, I'm not going to get into this fight. I'm going to keep it all together. That's if I was in the shoes of the driver. In turn, these are pros. They know what they're doing. They know the boundaries that they need to push, and they know how hard they can push each other to get that little bit more of a jump. Always great to see, but one that we're not looking forward to seeing, that is a Ferrari. That is Heineke into the wall and got some pretty significant damage onto his car. Dropped him down into 11th position and is now into the pits.
Now this question is, how is this going to affect the battle between Schumann and I believe Farmer there? Let's take a quick look back here and see what has happened there. I think he had a bit of a snap on the rear at Blanchemont. Here we go, into Blanchemont and onto the curb, runs wide, trying to keep it. Oh!
That slow death slide that comes in, and once you hit the marbles, that's all she wrote.
I know that pain. I think we both know that pain there. Me more than most with an Audi at the end of a 12-hour race, unfortunately, burning it into the wall at the exact same spot. But now brings the question: what will the points be between Jason Farmer and Werner Schumann? I believe are fighting it out in the championship. I mean, Jason Farmer gained quite a lot of, well, not quite a lot, but he gained a position.
Jason Farmer,
a bit more points.
Jason Farmer is 1 point behind Andre Serradio if they finish in the way they are. 1 point.
He has
100...
no more places to gain because he's 23 seconds behind the likes of Mordre Klaassen.
But this is the thing. Andre Serradio is 175 points. He is currently under pressure from the likes of Bego Krobler. Bego Krobler can be the reason Andre Serradio actually loses out while playing defense for his teammate. As Bego Krobler runs out wide, trying to go around the outside, couldn't quite get it all sorted out. So the pressure does come in as Andre Serradio suddenly now has his advantage pulled away. He has only got 1 point separating himself and the likes of Jason Farmer. Not going to be an easy time there. Rian van der Reyst comes back into the fray of things. So we haven't seen van der Reyst get into the car as yet.
Some issues for him, unfortunately, notifying that he will be running late. His plane ticket, unfortunately, his plane being a bit delayed from the likes of OR Tambo International Airport and not making it in time to Belgium for the start. But I hope that he can still get out there, even if it just means doing back-to-back pit stops and just get qualified as a finisher. I mean, you might be lost, but guess what? You are still going to finish, and that's what we like to see. No matter what, you still finish, and it's glad to see that he still decided to show up for the final race. Oh, that might be a track warning there for Bego Krobler. We both know that the likes of No Name, if you run too much onto the green stuff, you do get penalized. So I do not know if that, but I mean, just look at the gap he has dropped. That is what the damage, that's what the aero does in terms of damage and time behind the likes of a BMW, the big monstrous BMW with that big wing. It definitely damages the likes of the aero across the Porsche. It's very sensitive in terms of aero. It messes around a lot if you follow a car too close behind it, especially with such a big hulking monster in front of you.
Yeah, it's one that you got to be so cautious of and realize that there's a bit of a longer game here, but I think he's pushing harder and harder, trying to spot where there will be a mistake, where he can make a bit of an impact, trying to take away as many points as possible. I mean, this is where it does start getting into a little bit of an odd situation for the drivers as they try and push themselves that little bit more, hoping that maybe, just maybe, they can carry that little bit more momentum into the fray of things. But Bego Krobler continuing to drive hard is putting himself at a bit of a risk here. And I think a little too risky for one's liking. So, I don't know.
But I think it would be best just if the hybrid racing crew is listening, if they're a strategist, the engineer, or just a fellow driver, can't say, there it is! Drive through for Pedro Rodriguez, unfortunately going too wide at the likes of Eau Rouge. That's gone. That is second place in the championship. Gone.
Andre Serradio just needs to hold. Andre Serradio has done it. As team tactics has gone, that has done it.
That is textbook. That is, bro, forcing the guy behind your closest competition for your fellow driver to make a mistake, getting that drive through. That's it. That's game over. He will not be able to. Well, unless I do not know. I mean, that Porsche does not look very happy out of the exit of no name there. But look at Andre Serradio still sticking close. He has done his job phenomenally, Stephen. He has done what he needs to do to force the error from the experienced hands of Pedro Rodriguez, forcing that issue. I mean, we spoke earlier saying you do get track cuts running over Eau Rouge. If you cut the track too much, if you take the esports line a bit too much, you will get a slap on the wrist for a track cut there, not keeping between the white lines. And that is exactly what happened. Andre Serradio, brilliant, clean defending, playing the team game perfectly there.
Well, that's it. I mean, he's played the team game. It's worked out in his favor. But now the question is, can Bego keep ahead well enough of Werner Schumann to get it all sorted out? Has Andre Serradio done enough to go and kill off some of that time to ensure that's a bit closer? I mean,
let's see, will he go do his drive-through? That's the question. He does not. He sticks out.
He's going to try and keep it up, but you've got 3 laps to serve it. There's 11 minutes left. He's going to have to get that drive-through. You cannot just get to the line. You've got 3 laps to serve it.
He's got, effectively, with 2-minute lap times around the circuit, he's got six laps left until the end of the race, but 2 laps left to complete this. And just take a look at the running order from 5, 6, and 7th. Those are the 3 Pandassi cars, nose to tail, following one another. They did get the message saying, listen, the car in 3rd place, car number 15, has a drive-through. If you keep it clean and we run it close together, you might be able to get past them, because a drive-through does take some time. It's not 75 minutes on the dot, because you do not have to go and change your tires, but you do lose quite a significant chunk of time. I mean, it's already 8 seconds or 9 seconds behind the likes of Bouath Moussa, so he definitely will have to try and get there, but try not to speed into the pits. Now it's a red mist at lean, Stephen. You don't want to speed into the pits, because otherwise that's going to be a stop and go 30, and that's going to be completely done. That's park it goodbye, you're finished.
I mean, there's no other way of saying it. Job done and dusted for the likes of Andre Serradio, who, bravo. But I'm sure there's not going to be a very happy Pedro Rodriguez in the car there. Going to be a little bit cross on that one. But you can only go off track so many times. You got 3 warnings to get it all together. And unfortunately, if you push yourself that little bit more, you go over the threshold, you land up in a world of hurt. So
you have to tip your hat to the likes of Serradio.
There's no one else to blame in terms of it. Unfortunately, there's no one else you can blame and say, oh, but he made me do this. Unfortunately, that is down to the driver, but that has just changed up the game. Depending on where that pit stop is, how much time can be gained during the course of the race. Now, it's dependent on the likes of whether Bego gets in the pits now. How close can they get? So I'm watching these points intently.
He's in the pits. Here we go.
All right, so Pedro Rodriguez into
39
the pits.
seconds. 39 seconds was the gap between Werner Schumann and the likes of Andre Serradio. I think Werner Schumann might be able to jump him. They're coming into Blanchimont now.
He's going to pull all 3. They're all going to be 3 wide. Here comes the Pandassi team. And I say team that is about to just put salt in the wounds. Mordred Claessens is going to take the dive, because remember, these 3 are also in their own championship fight, so they are giving it horns. But if they're going to add a bit of salt into the wounds for Pedro Rodriguez, who is now only rounding the first kink,
Here they are. They're going to pass him. They've got him.
Here comes Werner Skillman, Conor Bergstrom, and Mordre Claessen's going side by side. They're going to take it side by side up through Eau Rouge. They get past. Beggar Krobler is officially in 7th position. Jason Farmer going to try and close up a bit of a gap. He's got Paul Fenter up on the inside to try and get the pass done and dusted. Jason Farmer goes for the undercut right underneath Paul Fenter, but just couldn't get the drive. Bago only rounding up at the top of the hill now, gets going. We'll have these two closing up on a rate of knots.
Side by side.
Absolutely tremendous stuff. And now Darren Miller says thank you very much. He's got the drive, guns it round both the drivers. Darren Miller, 2 positions, 1 corner. Thank you very much. Has stuck that Ferrari up into 8th place. Paul Fenter wondering where on earth did the PWSR car came from. Jason Farmer going to be counting and saying, where on earth are these cars coming from? I thought I had it. But as it stands, ladies and gentlemen, the championship standings would be Daniel Rowe, Mahayath Musa, Bego Krobler in 3rd, as it will go down to the line. So all that Mahayath Musa needs to do is just finish. Serradio has done enough for him, and definitely the biggest coke is on the way to the household there, because if you ever needed to owe your teammate one, that is it. Play to the T, to the frustration of Bego Krobler, who right at the last has had his hand slip from the cup. I mean, Cameron, you've had this before. You can tell us firsthand how this feels as a driver, knowing that was that.
It's gone.
That was that, and it wasn't even by your own hands.
I mean, these guys, the Pendacity guys, are flashing lights trying to get past there. I'm just looking at the headlights there. Just looking in the grandstand there with Rian from the race saying that he was... Ooh, apologies for that. That was a sneeze from the excitement. No, I mean, it's the Pendacity cars just need to keep it calm. I mean, as we saw the likes of Mordre Claessen running a bit too wide there at Blanchemont. You do not want to do that too much, because that's also going to be a track cut there and going to lead to a drive-through. But I mean, it's a wound that is still a bit fresh for me, have one hand on that championship trophy, and then one mistake might not be of your own fault, might have been of your own fault, being snapped away from you, saying goodbye, you're out of the championship, that's done. Yes, it might not be for the overall, well, it was for the overall win for the likes of Bego Krobler and Daniel Rowe, but Daniel Rowe snatched that trophy as soon as he got past the likes of Krobler and just took off. But it is absolutely a phenomenal one. I mean, Andres Radio, a brilliant drive for the likes of Mahayath Musa, really going there. He is the goose to the Maverick that is Musa there. He is the hangman that comes and rescues Maverick and Rooster. If you know my Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick references,
no,
you can be friends.
Sorry, there's nothing else be said. That's the GOAT, right there. That is
the GOAT.
That is truly the GOAT
move. I mean, that is the best way that a team owner can pay back one of their drivers for performing well. By defending the living daylights out to make sure that their driver get the best performance. Well done, Andres Radio. I'm phenomenal. I feel a bit more pride saying I battled you in the Air Force.
Okay, now I do want to throw out, if Andres Radio wishes to be that guy, he's 11 seconds ahead of behind Mahayath Musa. If Mahayath Musa happens to come off the throttle and Andres Radio goes for it, he will be that guy that will then drop Bego Krobler back into 2nd place. So how good of a friend are you? How good of a teammate are you that knowing that the power in your hands
is in your hands? Okay, here's the thing. Do not do a Ford in 1966?
1966.
1966, where Ford robbed the great late Ken Miles from winning 2 of the Triple Crowns. Well, actually, 1 Daytona and he won Sebring. He missed Lamar because of a photo opportunity. don't be one of those guys. Don't be one of that. Forget team orders. If you want to have a nice photo opportunity, fall a bit back. But do not risk this. I beg you.
Jason Farmer getting turned round. And now this is going to allow Alan Patterson to close up on him. Jason Farmer, we got to remember, is also in a championship with Werner Schumann. At the moment, they would be tied if Jason Farmer finishes in 10th. If Alan gets past, Werner Schumann will get ahead of Jason Farmer in the championship.
Ooh.
Andre Serradio is on 175 points if he finishes where he is, which is just clear enough of Jason Farmer, Alan Patterson. So Andre Serradio has no reason to take up the fight in championship points. And once again, I'm throwing it as more of a team aspect here, looking at the long-term game. I love doing that, and it gives you a better perspective. It's like looking at the Mona Lisa. Everyone looks at, is the Mona Lisa smiling or not? My one is looking at the Mona Lisa and looking at the background, looking at the border, seeing what the story that's trying to be told, what's trying to be portrayed from the spotlight character. That's what we're seeing in the championship.
Yellow flag. Where's the yellow flag?
That's Juan van der Race, who has come out.
Spun around.
The GSR trying to keep himself going. Remember, he's also in a bit of a championship fight. He would actually get ahead of Ruan Heineke, Verfiers, and Paul Venter by the end
if he finishes the race.
If he finishes, he will get ahead of those three drivers. He'll finish up with 138 points. Alan Patterson, 145 points. Jaco Kurza, 149 points. So there's a lot to play there. Paul Venter can actually put a ding in Darren Miller's hopes, because Darren Miller currently is in 214 points. Paul Venter can drop that points down, bring him closer to Andre Serradio, who is on 175 points, Jason Farmer on 172, tied with Werner Schumann. So if Werner Schumann loses out a position to Mordred Claessens or Conor Bergstrom, who are also fighting him for that very championship, that is going to be it. 1 minute and 4 seconds to go. We are about to see the run of a lifetime and a robbery of note. This is bigger than the Italian job. This is bigger than
Abu Dhabi. I will say that it's bigger than Abu Dhabi.
I would go that far, yes.
Make it differ.
No, I wouldn't beg to differ. That is pretty much it, because Mahayath Musa came into this race thinking he's going to go for second place. Started the race, it was gone. There was no chance of it, but due to his teammate putting in the fight, we just got confirmation our leader is on the final lap. So there is our leader, Daniel Rowe, who has got the fastest lap time of the race, a 2:17.4, looking to walk away with the crown for season 18. Was going to have a hybrid racing 1-2. Now, this is provisional standings. I do want to point it out there. This is very, very provisional. It can change depending on whatever happens.
Penalty-wise, or what, if the stewards deemed any form of misconduct by the drivers out on track that we might not have noticed, it is all still, this is provisional. But I don't think there's been anything.
I really hope it doesn't come down to the table.
Yes.
Because to have it settled on the track is my utmost hope, as we see Werner Schumann going and outbraking himself there. That allowed Mordred Claessens to get onto the back of him. So Werner Schumann's feeling the pressure because he outbraked himself. He's starting to feel the pressure. Claessens and Bergstrom are smelling blood in the water, and they're going to come at him and give it everything they got, because remember, they need to score well in this championship as well. Paul Venter looking around the outside, going to try and battle it out into the bus stop, and Miller locking that inside line, goes right on the apex, switches around, Paul Venter onto the power, not going to have the legs. This is where the Ferrari has quite a bit of acceleration underneath it. Paul Venter, stuck on the outside, is going to have to try and sweep his way back. Down the gears, stop dead on the apex. Miller throwing him out wide and properly leans on that nose. The These two are going to go hammer and tongs for the final lap between them. And even though it's not for a championship position for both of them, this is pride, this is honor, this is who's going for the top of the charts. But coming up to the line, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and taking the championship for season 18, well done to Daniel Rowe of Hybrid Racing. Takes the crown, takes the win here at Spa, and your season 18 champion comes across the line, 11 seconds back, going and making it count. Second place in the championship, Mahayeth Musa getting it sorted out. Third place will go to Andres Herrario as he comes across the line. Werner Skuman leading out the Pandacity team, Mordred Claessens and Conor Bergstrom all over the back of one another.
Who's gonna get the points though? Because will they make a move and dive? Well, let's make a formation. Then immediately goes and takes the points. This is a question.
I would be the first guy to say, if this is you and me, Cameron, we got told that we're gonna go formation flying. I'll be
goodbye, Stephen. You're my enemy. Goodbye.
I will be the first guy to shove you in the kidney. I will not lie.
Oh, I can buy a 4060 Ti. Cool. Just give me. You have to get Stephen's kidney. Cool. Thank you very much. Oh, here we go. Look at this beautiful sight.
Werner Skuman will finish ahead of Mordred Claesen. Come on, Mordred. Oh, it was so close.
Conor Bergstrom is gonna take it. No, never mind.
no.
But beautiful moment.
They try. The thought was there. Pedro Rodriguez finishing up in 7th place. Oh, unfortunate for his side. Darren Miller finishing up in 8th position. Gonna be smiling at that one. Paul Venter going and coming across the line will be ahead of Jason Farmer. Alan Patterson, Ruan Heineke, and Rian van der Race coming across the line. I mean, this is tremendous stuff for our drivers. And, wow, what a run.
Asked more. You couldn't have asked more for this phenomenal season. It's been an up and down roller coaster as we see some pandas doing burnouts. I don't think pandas eat donuts. I think they eat bamboo there. But it's a brilliant race, a brilliant season, a perfect way of ending the season, Stephen. It's hard-fought battles.
Perfect is debatable at this point because I think if you had to talk to Bago, he's not going to be that.
Yes, he might be a bit sad, might be a bit down, might be just sitting in his car for about 2-3 minutes wondering what's going on. But, I mean, in terms of entertainment-wise, perfect way to end it.
Yeah, no, it was
action everywhere.
It was a lot of fun right the way through. We're going to be having a chat to the drivers momentarily and get a bit of an insight. But there we go. Let's bring up a couple of highlights of the race. Starting out in the dark, not an easy run for any of the drivers. Lots of guys having to stand up and go, okay, what's the score here? How they're going to get going and who's clawing their way to victory. So, that being said, we're going to have a couple of chats to drivers, get their feelings on the race because there's so much to actually unpack here that it's a bit insane. So before we get on to, well, the chaps are going through the roof, let's bring in the likes of Paul Venter, have a quick chat to him, then we'll move on from there. Paul Venter, welcome to the commentary box. Glad to have you here. Not often you and I get to chat in a commentary standpoint, but all in all, good racing from your side and had a fight right to the line.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, my game froze on the corner right before the final chicane. So, on my stream, I did not finish the race. I don't know where my car went.
Well, we can confirm you did finish the race, I believe.
Far as I'm aware, you did. But what a race. I mean, take us through, from your perspective, you had a little bit of contact with Miller early on. It was a bit of a twist round. Then it was a fight all the way through. Then the two of you decided that you got into a knife fight. I mean, just take us through it.
don't know. Look, I felt quite trapped for kissing Darren's Ferrari there and spinning him around. So I thought the nice thing would be is to wait for him. And then I ended up having a battle with all these bloody Ferraris around me. Just when I thought, great, I dispatched one Ferrari. Next moment, here goes another one past after Eau Rouge. And I was battling with 3 track limits after, I think I 35 minutes left. So every time I think it's going to be a track cut, I completely lift. And that was good fun. I enjoyed that, except now for not actually getting to dive bomb him into the chicane.
Next time.
Absolutely.
We'll get the number for the next time. But all around, you haven't been around too much for the season. You came in for the final race. If you had to sum up your thoughts of the racing that you've been part of the season, what will it be?
Yeah, it was actually great racing. Breaking my thumb kind of screwed me for 2 of the events. I had a family friend who, or should I say, my sister's kid was chosen to play rugby for the Lions under 12, so that kind of screwed with the rest of my plans as I was away with all of his rugby. But yeah, the quality of the racing was fantastic. Wasn't too many shenanigan incidents to take place. I think definitely be back for the next season. And the boys that kind of ran away half the grid, I don't know why, come speak to me and let me know so that I can drink some tequila, because Ickx didn't show up to race. So yeah, I think it was great fun. Absolutely fantastic, man.
Well, I think you got to relook at Andre Serradio, because that man is an absolute shield, and I know that you tend to have a good stab at the Project Vapor team. Well, it's definitely worth rewatching the defense of note on that one.
Epic. I will do that.
All right, Paul Fenter of Logistical Nightmare Racing. And Paul, before we let you go, is there anything you would like to say to all our sponsors, to all the petrol heads out there, and everyone watching now and in the future? The floor is yours. Just remember to keep it PG-13.
Yeah, boys, if you want to have fun, Thursday nights, RaceFace is the place to be. You can either win money, or you can win a toolbox, or you can just win the pride of kicking everyone's butts. And if you're not winning and kicking butts and you're hitting walls and rolling cars, well, then you'll feature on a Friday where I'll drink a tequila shot to you being an idiot. So yeah, come join the fun, and yeah, let's party, man, on a Thursday night.
And take a look at Logistical Nightmare Racing. They're going to be starting off with their racing soon with the MSA Cup, the second half of that. So feel free to get in touch with Paul Fenter at Logistical Nightmare Racing on Tuesday and a Sunday, if I'm correct on that.
Absolutely. Sundays, 7th of July is season 2, where we will start the 4 rounds for the finals to take place end of the year. So yeah, those who want to, come sign up, get involved, and enjoy some great racing on a Sunday afternoon instead of watching Formula Boring.
Formula Boring, I like that one.
That's a good one.
Definitely Monaco. It's the best sleep you're ever going to have. Thank you, Paul. The Wolf.
Cheers, man.
Brilliant. Thank you. Cheers. Well, Cameron, the next interview I'm going to leave up to you, because we're going to pull in the GOAT himself, Andre Serradio, to come and have a chat to us on that monumental run he had, finishing up 3rd in the event. Andre Serradio, welcome to the commentary box, but I am going to leave you in the very capable hands of Cameron de Bastos on this one.
I wouldn't classify my answer as capable after almost wrecking my own race there previously. But no, Stephen, you have absolutely classified this man perfectly. The GOAT. You say the GOAT, I call him the Iceman to Maverick, the Hangman to Rooster. Andre Serradio, brilliant defending there. You played this team game absolutely brilliant. You pulled the Sergio Perez of 2021 and blocked the likes of Bago Hrobler till the very end. No contact, no nothing. You had him force the error. Just walk us through that entire couple of laps you ran there. I mean, we had our heart in throat. We were speculating, saying, how are you going to do this?
First off, well done on the intro. That was superb. It made me very happy. It was your oaks. My body is aching at the moment. It was very sweaty. It was very sore. I knew that the Beamer had really good straight line speed, and I really, really wanted to capitalize on it. So I like kept telling myself, if I can at least keep him so that we go side by side going into the corner, I should be fine. As soon as he clears me on the straight, it was kind of game over. So I kind of fought tooth and nail about that. And he gave me one hell of a fight. It was it was ridiculous. And we did have contact going into the second sector. I don't remember what lap, but we did. So there was like a lot of like rough fighting, and it was such a blast. But my body's not really thanking me at the moment for doing what I just did.
You said your body's a bit sore, so I assume a bit feeling under the weather with I think probably the flu going around there also. But I mean, yes, you had your fighting, you had your I mean, rubbing is racing. We all have been there. Me and you have done it in open wheelers, and luckily somehow still managed to keep the car facing the right way.
Miraculously.
Somehow, but I mean, there we just see on screen there the contact that you had going into Le Com there, but I mean, you really played the team game brilliantly. I'm going to hammer on that because that's just phenomenal. But I mean, you and Muath has been talking a lot probably during the race, saying, okay, what's the strategy going to be? How are you going to do this? How are you going to play this? And I mean, I'm pretty sure that he was quite down at the start of the race, starting so far down and you being up there. I'm pretty sure that you were the linchpin holding this entire championship together for him to be able to get that second place.
This is the thing about Moath, he will have a very long-term strategy. So I was working with him throughout the week, trying to get to understand what his strategy was so that I could make my strategy around it to play like the team game, as you said. So yeah, he went long, I went short, and it was mostly just to keep up with the top two, to see if they make a mistake to kind of wear out their tires and just make them fight unnecessarily. And yeah, it was just push from there, and it was just hyper focused. And yeah, so throughout the race we would give each other calls and like be like, hey, this is the times that they're doing at the moment. This is the times that as the race progresses, if it's going up or down. And then he actually helped me towards the end, saying, look, Bagel is picking up the pace. If you want to stay out in front of him, you should pit now. And that's why I did that somewhat early stop. And then lo and behold, I came out in front. So yeah, it was a phenomenal call from Wath as well. It was just really good teamwork from everyone else, from everyone in general. Yeah, we just a cohesive unit tonight, and it was just really great to be a part of this teamwork. It was just awesome.
Well, you couldn't have said it any better there. Phenomenal teamwork, and from yourself, the strategies and the driver calls. So yeah, well done again from my side. And I'm going to throw this over to you, Steven, if you have any questions for the Maverick of defending.
Well, I want to point this out. Andre Serradio, you went and got second place for Mahayath Musa in that last little bit. Mahayath would finish with 301 points. Bago, 261 points after that one. The reason why is even with Bago that was on your tail, wouldn't have got that win. He wouldn't. He would have got second place. But due to the off tracks that pushing to try and get around you, you're the reason Mahayath Musa got second in the championship. So owes you a bit of a Coke, a chocolate milkshake on that one. But Andre, before we let you go and celebrate with it all, you also finished up 175 points. Jason Farmer, 173 points behind you. So it was also a close call there from your side. But before we let you go, anything you'd like to say to the petrol heads on the race and on the season?
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Yeah, I actually do. I want to put my team Project Vape on the spotlight right here. We've just been doing a great job, man. If you told me about a year ago that we would accomplish so much in like a relatively short amount of time, I would think you're lying. But Moath, Charles, Isham, Ian, Richard, Gabriel, our crew chief, Just everyone in the team has just been doing such a great job, week in and week out. Even we have Charles in the Pro-Am division who got his first podium of the season, and it's a track that he says that he's not usually comfortable with, and just tonight it all clicked for him. And it was just a Project Vapor evening, and just this teamwork from everyone to understand this car and to understand strategies and to understand setup and to help in certain corners and stuff. I definitely cannot do the stuff that I do without the team. So yeah, Project Vapor, I just love you guys so much.
Absolutely awesome stuff. Well, that being said, thank you so much for joining. We're going to bring in our next guests through, and it's going to be your teammate of Mahath Musa.
Cannot wait.
All right. Well, that being said, let's bring in second place in the championship, usurping Pedro Rodriguez. Let's have a chat to the one, the only Mahath Musa. How are you feeling with that? You would have got set on, this is provisional points. It isn't finalized as yet, but you have taken second place with 301 points to Pedro Rodriguez 261. The only reason it all hooked up, though, was based on him going off track and scoring a drive-through. But you got the win done and dusted. You got that second place right in the last race, the last 10 minutes of the race.
Just again, unbelievable, man. Really, a very, very tough field. Everyone knows that if you want competition, you come to RaceFace, and the last 3 races was definitely 3 of my best so far, especially this one today. But yeah, that when I saw Bagel get the drive-through, a bit of relief and also bummed at the same time, because you always want to have a nice battle with the guys on track. It's nice, you get a better feeling if you fight properly for it. So a bit bummed that he did get the drive-through, but very much happy with the result today. I'm sure you saw, or you kind of knew my plan at the start, like I did at Indianapolis. If we don't get the position, we go into the pits. We do the opposite. So that was the plan for the day. That first stint was a bit tough. But then again, once we get into that, get onto that fresh rubber, it does make life a lot easier. But overwhelmed. Very happy, and also can't believe that I got P2 in the championship, to be honest. That is a nice surprise.
Well, it came down to the final wire. You got it all hooked up. Looking back at the championship, hindsight of things, season 18 now drawn to a close. Anything that comes to mind for anyone that's looking onwards to the race and going, I want to be there. I want to have a bit of a challenge. Do you have anything you would like to say to our crowd watching here live or in the future?
I would say definitely come and join us. Our RaceFace is the place to be if you're really looking for a challenge. The guys here are top class. I just told Daniel also now that I don't know how we're going to reach your alien pace, and he's trying to reach an even further alien pace, so you can already see the competition out there. People just want to get better, and it's always nice to see it pushes you further and further to the top, which is always great to see. The community is very helpful. Guys are always supporting one another, even though there's these intense battles on scenes on the streams and stuff. But behind the scenes, the guys are a lot more supportive, which is quite nice to see. Bring it on. Get your sim gear ready, get your racing seat, your steering wheel, your pedals. Doesn't really matter what you have, just come and enjoy the fight. Also, I have to say that this has been one of the nicest seasons that I've had in RaceFace so far. A lot of clean driving that was happening around us in all of the races. Yeah, there was a bit of rubbing and touching here and there, but the guys know how to keep it fair, but also know how to push you through to that limit that I keep mentioning.
Oh, absolutely incredible stuff. Musa, thank you so much. Cameron, anything you would like to say before we let him go to enjoy the celebrations and the champagne while holding on to the silver for season 18?
Well, Muath, just phenomenal drive. It's great to see you pull the BMW all the way to that second place on the race, claiming 2 victories and then also second in the championship. Well done on a phenomenal race. I think you also owe Andre a very big stair stumpy and coke there. If you really want to make him happy, just slide in some ice there. I'm joking. He doesn't. I don't know if he likes ice with his stair stumpy. But Steven is gonna give me the death stare now. Yeah. But well done. Phenomenal race tonight. And yes, a great season from you and the team. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next GT3 series that's going to take place on the likes of Zero Course Competizione, and then also going to keep an eye on you. I do know you and the team are also dabbling a bit in the iRacing F4 side. So really well done, and go celebrate. Go jump into the pool and have a nice little ice bath before going out and celebrating. Well done.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Cameron.
Incredible stuff, Musa, done and dusted. But it is what we've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please. Entering the booth, going and taking the crown, who is not all too familiar with being on the microphone right here at RaceFace. He tends to keep it a little bit more quiet and just let his actions speak louder than words. Daniel Rowe, our season 18 championship winner, stellar run, 350 points clear of all his competitors. Gonna be smiling for that one. Daniel, welcome, congratulations, all hail the king as you grab hold of that microphone. How are you feeling after the race, after the season that you've had? Ups and downs, twos and fros, but been one of the most dominant drivers out on track.
Yeah, thank you. I feel good. Been a good season. Bega and I were fighting quite a lot, and Musa and Seradio joined the battles towards the end of the season, which was cool. And we had nice battles tonight, so I really enjoyed it. But I must say thank you to Andres from EG Evolved, and also my wife's cousin for both of them allowed me to race on their rigs when I was in Johannesburg and then in Port Elizabeth, so it allowed me to score points. Otherwise I don't think I would have been in this position, so thanks to them as well.
I mean, there we go. Just, you were in different rigs. For anyone that thinks it's an easy thing to do, the settings are going to be completely different. The way the guys have set up the rigs are different. It's never an easy thing to be out there. But Daniel, you've taken that championship. You've got your eyes set on the prize the entire time. Going into this race, what was the mentality? Was it, I need to get first place and I'm going to fight Bago tooth and nail on it? Was it, I'm just going to go out to have a bit of fun? What was the mentality heading into this final race with all the pressure that was around?
Luckily I had a good lead in the championship, so I knew I didn't really have as much pressure as Bago, so I was able to fight, and still finish. I could still finish in the top 5 and secure the championship. So obviously we were fighting. He's trying to win as well. And luckily for me it went my way tonight. He had some bad luck, but he had extraordinary pace. Qualifying was insane. I don't know where he found that pace. But he pulled it together and he put on a lightning lap. So yeah, I think we just went guns blazing and we were enjoying ourselves. Obviously we're in the same Discord channel, but we were fighting and we were enjoying it at the same time. I think his pit stops just got him out behind traffic, which slowed him down, and then he from there just went bad to worse. So, but we enjoyed it. The goal was to race. We just wanted to race.
Well, you know what? A first and third going and walking away with the gold and the bronze is never a bad thing. But you walked away with the gold. You got your hand on the crown, smiling for that one. Cameron, anything you'd like to say to Daniel before we let the king go and address his people and let everyone know on how he feels?
Yeah, I mean, as Steven said there, Daniel, jumping between different rigs is absolutely and still being fast is not something that everybody is able to accomplish. But you mentioned there that Bago had some phenomenal qualifying pace, which was on display there. But it seems like you were just able to extract that pace out of the Lamborghini a bit more, and being right on the rear diffuser of that Porsche throughout the race. And when you finally was able to make that move into the bus stop, you made loud and clear that you are going to run away with this, and you did a phenomenal job with that. Well done. I tip my hat to you. You are the pace that I wish I was able to achieve when I was doing ACC. And well done. A great deserved championship victory there, and a great race win tonight there. You had a bit of a rough couple of races the previous two, but you absolutely made up for them with a phenomenal drive tonight. Well done. Go celebrate with the team, and we can't wait to see you next season.
Yeah, thank you. And just a correction, Bago still managed to hold on to second in the championship. So
is it?
Yep. Well done to him.
Are we sure? Well, it all depends.
About 8 points. He's secured 8 points.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Well, just trying to use the fixing there, but it seems like the math was wrong. So well done to Pedro Rodriguez then.
But Steve, that's why we do commentating, not do maths.
Yeah. No, that's definitely it.
Well done to both hybrid racing guys. You guys had a phenomenal season and a phenomenal drive. Well done.
Cool. Thank you, man. Cheers, guys.
Cheerio, Daniel. Have a good one. Well, in the box is a driver and a person that doesn't usually land up on the microphone too often, but we need to go and tip our hat to as part of the pillars of RaceFace, and also keeps the servers alive, keeps us all going, does frantic work behind the scenes. For many that know him for falling off a circuit or going and keeping it consistent. For those that don't, well, this is the man you want to talk to when you get into the world of sim racing. Hansi Myberg, welcome to the commentary box. Glad to have you here, and what a championship it's been. Straight through from Pro-Am, and Am. It has been racing all over. Everyone smiling ear to ear on it. Your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, I've just updated the scores, as Daniel Rose said. I just updated the scores. So yeah, there on SimGrid you'll find the live scoring over there, which is not the complete final results, but as soon as we've gone through all the incidents, yeah, all those will be live and up 100% correct. And yeah, it's like you say, Stephen, what a season it's been. And yeah, I just want to thank each and every driver that participated. Thank you guys for pitching. Thank you for racing. And yeah, I mean, it was one hell of a season. If I look at the how the guys have picked up pace, and how our guys have swapped around. Yeah, no, it's been one hell of a season.
Tremendous stuff right the way through. But I mean, the frantic work behind the scene is not over. Season 18 done and dusted, which is always great. But now we move on to the big one. We move on to the exciting. Lots going on with this next week coming up. Can you give us a bit of insight? We did allude to it at the start, but I think it's only fair that one of the pillars of RaceFace to give us what exactly is happening in the coming weeks.
So normally after a season, we've got like a slight little break, which we do a little bit of fundraising, etc. But yeah, RaceFace has been chosen to host a SimGrid Community World Challenge qualifier, which allows us to participate in the final, the Community World Challenge. So yeah, from next week we're gonna basically participate in 4 rounds. It's gonna be next week's gonna be Misano, then we're heading over to Silverstone, then Kyalami, and then Monza. That's gonna be our 4 races, which we're gonna be racing for the SRO SimGrid Community World Challenge qualifier. So yeah, that's gonna keep us busy. We're not gonna have an off season. We're just gonna keep on racing.
Absolutely tremendous stuff. Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. And straight from the horse's mouth, go on to SimGrid, look up RaceFace.Pro, and join up with the SRO Community World Challenge. And we being hosting it here at RaceFace.Pro. What an amazing time. Lots of exciting things happening. We've got iRacing, we have got Assetto Corsa Competizione. We've got it all here at RaceFace. Some fun racing for everyone that wants to goof around as well, which is always great to see. But some very, very serious competition coming up. Season 19 confirmed. We heard from the CEO of RaceFace.Pro, which was Bertus Hugo, saying that is coming up in July. So don't go anywhere and feel free to keep an eye out on all our social medias. A big shout out to our sponsors, SA Lube, Ondorf Machinery Mart, for jumping on board and being with us this season here at RaceFace.Pro for the RaceFace GT3 Championship. And a massive shout out to Hunty Myberg for all the hard work he does behind the scenes. And also a monster shout out to Cameron de Bastos taking the microphone once again. A driver going and stepping out of the usual comfort booth, getting behind a microphone, having to deal with me, which, well, he hasn't landed in the insane asylum yet. Hunty has been there, but they said they don't take professionals at this point. Big shout out to the both of you. Big shout out to all our spectators, our competitors, teams, sponsors, and all you petrol heads that tune in and day out. Make sure you keep an eye out on all our social media and also on the social media of Ondorf Machinery Mart and SA Lube. Cameron, any final thoughts from your side before we say for the final time a farewell to Spa for season 18 and a farewell to our spectators?
Well, Stevens, you gave myself and Hansi such a big ovation and praise there. I mean, you normally don't, well, you don't give yourself one. So I really want to also say thank you from our side, from myself and Hansi, and I'm pretty sure Hansi will agree with it. Thank you, Steven, for again lending your amazing voice and knowledge regarding racing onto this race, and also keeping the fort down while I had to step away from the mic for a bit. You definitely are a regular in the homes of our viewers, and also one that I absolutely love hearing if I'm not on the mic. You accepted accepted me with open arms to join the commentary box and showed me even the ropes of commentating. But yes, thank you to you, and thank you to our lovely viewers in the grandstands there. You guys made it all possible for us, the viewers, for making the job for me and Steven more enjoyable, and then also in providing the service to you. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in into season 18. I'm already excited for season 19 and about seeing who is going to be on top. I was a bit excited to dust off the old ACC simulator and jump in the off season to try and compete for the SRO RaceFace community winner, but there's just one issue. I don't like some of those tracks. Some bad memories, but really thank you everybody for joining, and I'm excited for what the future holds, as Stephen already gave me a bit of a stink eye there. Thank you, everybody, and I will see you all in season 19 of the GT Championship.
Well, that being said, so like always, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and let us know down in the comments what was your favorite part of the season. And like always, for the final time of season 18, we're going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.